tonight.
Okay. We are recording, we can open meeting. With the meeting, we looked at, we have enough here for a quorum. 1, 2, 3, 4 out of 7, so that's good. And I think the key things, today should be a relatively quick meeting. I just wanted to cover any updates that we had in action items from last week. And as we go through this, before we get there, we should, do I have anyone to make a motion to accept the minutes?
I'll make the motion to accept my own minutes.
Second. All in favor? Aye. Since you're remote, Mark is an aye. Okay.
I'll jump over.
Okay, so the minutes are approved as written. The thing that I want to spend some time on is just a little bit updates. The other sheet I handed out had a bunch of different dates. This is only the critical path dates that we have. This is input from a number of different people, legal, also Lane.
Okay, I still.
Or Ellis.
On the fire call. Are they still at the fire call?
Ellen gave us input.
Okay, especially the fire call.
So if we just step through here, picking it up on the 26th.
Or
one with
you want
the
to put
asterisks.
notes on it, but they put it into that. Is it, we're at the meeting.
Obviously, we have today's meeting, but tomorrow, we're gonna go to the select board at 6:30. And we're gonna request funds to support some redesign work for a revised building plan.
And what time is that, Bill?
That's at 6:30 tomorrow. I think it's the third or fourth item down. There's not a lot of items.
Okay.
It's not the first item.
All right, I'll go to that too.
I'll be there. And then I talked to Mike Goddard, and we reviewed the plans for that. And it's really with FinCom to identify funds to support redesign efforts with Mike Petrick. So that's tomorrow.
So the funds are originating from FinCom?
They're going to be from FinCom Reserve or
Right.
ARPA. We haven't, I'm going to let the select board figure out where, and FinCom figure out where it comes from. But our request will go in. Probably not to exceed 10,000. I spoke to Mike Petrovic several times, and he's willing to help us. But I told him we need to get funds. We don't want, we just can't help us regardless. We'll probably try it again to meet next week if there's enough substantive information to go over. If not, we may move it to the following week, go back to a 2-week cycle. But there are some key dates that are coming up. Dave, I think we gave you the action item to try to get a hold of legal, and we need to do that before the 9th of July to have the verbiage finalized. And the important thing is that it's got to go before the select board by July 17th. So they can approve the language and approve the ballot question to go into November. So that's the next immediate key dates. Getting some funds for the architect, getting the legal nailed down with the attorney.
I forgot to ask when Mike got it the other day, why is that so early? Or did you find out why is that date so early?
This one here,
Yeah,
it's the only known date that we know that the select board is meeting.
no, I mean, usually like, so
What's driving
the
it?
warrant and ballot language for May, we had to have that in by the middle of April, a month away. This,
We have to have it, the Secretary of State, because we're gonna go on the state ballot.
okay,
Because we're gonna be part of the state ballot, according to Ellen. It has to be to the state by 8/7, so it's August 7th is the driver. So we need to get our stuff done in July. Theoretically, if it slipped a little bit in July, we'd be all right. But August 7th is a drop dead date for the state. It's gotta be in the Secretary of State. Ellen suggests that once the select board approves the language, it'll take her 1 day just to turn around and send.
So we just need the ballot, not the warrant.
Not the ballot.
The warrant we won't need until October.
Yeah, well, the town meeting, it should be one of the very close one, the same, I'm sure.
They're a little bit different. One authorizes the spending amount and one just authorizes the borrowing. So, the borrowing is the ballot. And that usually doesn't have a number on it. Just authorizes the borrowing, the town to borrow.
So we need the ballot one. This needs to go to the state, Secretary of State, and they put it on the ballot, gets published by the state. Some other interesting dates to be aware of. Shortly thereafter, early October, mail-in ballots would go out. So we should be aware that we need to be communicating to the public in early October,
September,
September.
if they get in October.
And then October 19th, early voting starts. So people need to be informed about what to make a decision. And then we move into the presidential election. There's probably more dates we'll worry about as we go through.
So we've made that decision that we're going with the ballot. Have we made that decision?
I don't know if we've made it firmly, but that's what we're driving to.
Right.
I mean, everyone we talked to, if I talked to Ellen,
Mhm.
it's more cost effective. It doesn't cost us anything. We don't have to get a second wave through, and the opinion is people will be upset because they've got to come twice. Some people will be glad that it is separate, so it's cost.
Doesn't have to go to town meeting again, right?
No, it does.
It does.
Yeah, it will.
Does it? Okay.
We have
It
to
can
begin
go
the process
after the,
again.
yeah, it
I
can
go
go.
after the two.
Special town meeting.
And what we'll do is tie into the normal special town meeting,
Yeah,
which has happened sometime a little bit before Thanksgiving again.
yeah, something.
And again, that cuts the cost out, additional cost to run separate things.
So it goes to ballot first and then special town meeting?
It doesn't have
Because
to
we've
be.
already, the other one stays approved until September 15th.
Right.
So,
Oh.
well, we can't. In other words, we've lost that
Right.
because we've decided we couldn't make September. We just don't have enough people to make September. So we went back for November.
It doesn't matter, you go to ballot or town meeting.
Oh, it doesn't.
It doesn't really matter.
Yeah, you
You
can go.
just have to pass it both.
Yeah, yes, yeah, pass it.
But if it, tell me if I'm wrong, but if we have the vote and it passes, and then we go to town meeting and it's defeated, are we done?
Yes,
We're then totally done.
yeah. It's gotta be-
It's gotta be both, okay. We wouldn't come back again.
Well, you could have it at the town meeting. Ballot will be good for so many days.
Right.
So that's the type of sequence, critical path
Okay.
dates that we have. The blue things are just things about talking about getting out, meet the people and talking to them. There's a boat race on the 9th of July. You know, I thought maybe we'd get a feedback table booth set up, somebody if they want to give us input, then I thought about it. Everybody's gonna be there with their kids and they're
Yeah,
gonna have fun.
I agree with you on that, because that's a different type of event. Isn't it?
We asked about it last year and we were.
Yeah, you know, it's a family
Family
event,
event.
yeah. And it's over quickly, I mean, you
It
know.
is.
I think it's. Maybe we'll resurrect our,
I mean, it wouldn't be bad to be there and have a sticker or something on.
Put a sign up or something, that's it.
maybe if we need a bigger boat, we still need a bigger boat.
Yeah. We have no vote, we're not in the race this year because we only have so much time and energy. Oh, yeah, didn't get very far. Sorry,
But
gave it a good shot.
But somewhere between here and the 7th, maybe there's a presence, maybe a sticker and be there. That doesn't hurt, but no active tables and booths and.
What I had mentioned to Amy the other day, and was, I heard and everything, before we go out and start going, telling people go out to vote. The sign that's outside the senior center with irons puts up all the upcoming programs and things like that. I said that we really need to go out there and put like vote in capital, great big capital letters. And if you need a ride, call, so that hopefully people driving back and forth in front of the senior center, it will dawn on them, oh yeah, I've got to go vote.
We can have we can say vote.
We can't say for,
We-
Right,
to which way,
you said vote, just
vote.
Yeah, if we do vote, that's fine. We can, all
I
times,
think people are going to be much more aware. Remember, national election. They're going to be much more aware.
Right.
Should be anyways.
right. See, there was really no contest, no contested, people on our last
That's
one.
right.
So some people came just to either say yes or no to our ballot question. But they're gonna be there for a specific reason.
I think as we get to the next meeting or so, July, we need to nail down how we want to approach the voters. You know, I suggested, I had 4 town hall meetings and sessions to get information. Maybe we just do it after the summer break and people are on vacation, we do September, October.
You're gonna do the Lions Fair?
It's October.
We should,
Right.
The Friends will probably be doing the Lions Fair.
Discuss that this week.
yeah, that would be a good one to go to.
We'll have to see if the article that goes in the newspaper and goes into the senior scene, it generates, more volunteers. Because we can't do it. Can't do it without more volunteers. I can just, I think you agreed with me last time on that.
I agree. I agree. So that's the critical date path that we're looking at ahead of us. There is a whole stream of things to talk about. Get out the vote, get things rolling. But first, we need to make sure we've got a position for a ballot, which is, July, early July. Probably the second half of July, we'll nail down the things. I think we know what we need to do. Collateral, printing, signage, we have that experience last time. The only other date here, assuming that we get to funding tomorrow evening, is that I'll talk to Mike Petrovic again and have him as quickly as possible come back with some ideas. There will be some discussions on, the discussion at this point has been to reduce with Mike, his thoughts is to take and reduce it this way and have 2 second floor and first floor be part of the center, more active. I don't have any renderings or designs on that, but he's thinking he can reduce the building to eliminate some cost.
Didn't you say that we'd have to reduce the building by a third in order to get under that $10 million mark? I thought he said that.
Well, we'll see what his pencil, there's a lot of,
My thoughts on that is keep the building the same money. People will realize it. Because if you go reducing it, they're gonna say, well, why'd you reduce it?
Right.
before?"
First time.
Keep it the same money, say, this is what we need, this is the town needs. Steadfast at that price. Don't go dropping,
My other concern is I did read the notes from.
that's my opinion.
I read the notes from last week and I was concerned with the idea of not having the food pantry or the emergency shelter be there. Because this is two of the things that we've been campaigning on. So we're gonna look like,
Yeah, you gotta have it
I
there.
don't want to say liars, but
No, and that's our way to meet people and have a relationship with them. You meet their needs and then whatever else they need. I don't want to give up the food pantry either. I
Because you're
don't.
gonna be gear up, so you had inflation, so even if you come with the same money. Still have to give up a few things, maybe.
oh, that's true.
I have mixed. I've watched schools come through and watched police stations come through. Everything seems to have to go through more than once.
And cut.
And then usually there's some sort of a cut into it. And Dave, you may want to speak.
Yeah, we had to cut. I think the library cut, everybody had to cut.
And I'm not.
But it's either you just, so you look at the predicament we're in, either we stay in that building there, we cut and try to get it, because obviously cost was a huge factor. People just don't want to bite that bullet, and that's a high number, and they want to get under it. And I mean, even if you had to reduce a third, what are we still going to be 3 times the size we are now? So
What's
you
that
look at
square?
that site,
5 to 6 inches.
I don't think that high. It can't be. It's a small keep house. It's like,
We got the back case.
I think what it passed this time, they just didn't like the location. I heard that more and more. People didn't like the location.
Yeah,
I feel the
I
same
heard the
way.
raise in the taxes.
yeah, I think it's money.
The
It
location-
always is. Always money. I think people would say that it always boils down to money.
I think money was a driver.
It always boils down to the bottom line with dollars.
I think what are the,
In every town.
what are your recreation fields, the need of the schools, the money, and the location. Not in any particular order, that's the fourth thing. And then I heard a lot I forgot to vote.
And that area is being developed now, so there's gonna be a bank there, there's retail shops going in there in the corner, so I mean, that is a good spot for it. And you're gonna be centrally
I'm
located.
just saying, I've heard people say that.
But I think because they can't see it yet, once being starts tearing open that place and putting a bank in there and everything else, it's gonna look a lot different. I don't know what your other alternative is, because we can't. Well, what is your alternative? If you want to change sites, what do you look at?
You want to spend more money by the time you do the engineering, test boring, all that stuff.
Yeah. Re-engineering would be another $7.
Okay, so what are we at now? What we talked about this the other day, we had 14,000 square feet, 13,000.
13 and change.
13. So I mean, even if you had to go into 10,000 square feet, you're still double what you have now. You know, we were originally designed to have over a 12,000 square foot police station. Went down to, we had to bring it down to 9,200 square feet to get it to pass 4 times. I just don't know if Phil has it in to do it 4 times to learn our lesson from it, you know?
I'm getting old, Dave.
We went with the same building a couple times, failed. You know, then we reduced it, then we had a grant, failed. It took 5 times.
I'm not saying, I think we were close enough to the vote, it's not gonna go. We're either gonna be successful.
Yeah.
And I think we'll be successful. I think we were very close. I do tend to agree with what I'm hearing from select board people and Dave with experience, that we'll probably have to give a little bit on the dollars. Just because I've watched this school board go up there when I had kids in school. When we got decertified, they didn't fund the budget. Or what they needed then, they decertified the schools. They had to come back later to get it recertified to build, so, I don't know.
Mark's been quiet. Mark, do you have any opinion on this?
He's having a drink.
Just have a beverage, relaxing.
Yeah.
What's your opinion? We want to opinion from you.
Mark
Lot
was
of
in this,
A lot
Right.
of make, the difference is if we're gonna have an emergency shelter or not. If we're not
Can't
gonna
hear
have
you.
an emergency shelter there, then there's not a lot that I can do to help.
We're not having the shelter
Right.
there as well.
Yeah,
And then also, I really think the food pantry has to be there, because Janet and Amy were the coordinators of the food pantry and run through, and they're all individuals that come in, whether they're seniors or not, they're the ones there. Where else are we gonna go and be able to guarantee that they're gonna have confidentiality?
No, I think we were just talking through what could possibly happen. Mike, myself and Phil met last week to talk to, you know, the architect and just say, hey, this is a number, what can you come up with? Maybe the pantry has to be a different size. Maybe it's not gonna be finished down there. Maybe it's gonna be much like it is now. It's gonna be a basement atmosphere instead of a finished space. Because I'd rather have an unfinished space done that you can finish later with maybe
Right.
BVT.
Yeah.
Because we talked about that too. If we can get in line with BVT, that's what they do there. They have programs where if you can get on their schedule, you can't get it done right away, you're gonna have to be a couple of years out, or a couple of years out anyways. If we could save $500,000 and not finish the downstairs, have BVT scheduled to move right in September when we finish it. Because then you pay materials only and you don't pay prevailing wages, and you get our discount for the materials because we pay state bid prices. So there's a way
that's the way to shift them.
there's a way to shave money, but not shave utilities. But you gotta look at space too. Like we had 4 cells in here. We had to reduce it to 2. We had a gym in a health area for the officers. We had to take that completely out. We had separate cubicles and spaces for the officers. We had to combine them into a squad room and a work writing room. So there's just things you have to do to get it to pass. And again, 13, the same building's gonna be 14 if we go in 6 months. So we're already cutting.
That's right.
Like you said, we're already cutting. I just don't know.
I think what we need to do is, I think it's important to get the funds to get Mike engaged and go back to the principals. We need to be able to do the functions as we described for the seniors.
Yep.
We need the rooms that we talked about. We need to look at efficiencies if you have an upstairs, downstairs. I hear the food pantry. We need the food pantry.
Yep.
I like the idea, the story and the message that Dave and Mike came up with the other day. Is getting BVT to come in and do some building. build it. You're not having them structurally build stuff. But you're having them come in,
Finish all your stuff.
finish off,
Plumbing,
finish off the.
electrical, drywall,
Yeah, I
flooring,
wonder how,
we do all of that.
where we would be on their list though.
I think would be a priority for
I think
everybody.
Fitzpatrick,
Yeah.
yeah, I think Fitzpatrick, when I talked to him at the end of the vote.
Yep.
Town, meeting, not vote. He said if we can help in any way, we'd love to be able to support you.
And they schedule out, so they schedule out, the prior books for next year. It's good because we don't need them next year, it'd be, after the building's done.
Well, maybe after you talk to the architect, maybe we could invite Dr. Fitzpatrick to one of our meetings and see what he suggests. And it will plant the seed in his mind that we're gonna need this to pass. We got 2 hurdles to pass.
I mean, I understand what we need, but it's that fine line where I know we need it, but at the same time, is there efficiencies and cuts we can make? Because to your point, we do need it. And if we express to people we had to make cuts and we tell them what the cuts were, because the building was that important to get it passed, then that's the priority. I mean, the alternative is we go where it is, we take that gamble and it fails. Now we're there and we have nothing. You have what you have.
Well, we have another acre there.
Yep.
And, we need parking desperately, desperate. So we have to, if it fails, we have to still come back and get some funds to develop that acre, even if it's just parking. You didn't have people crossing the street. It's so dangerous.
But it's,
Yeah.
throwing good money at a failing project, that's a bad thing too, though.
If they're not gonna buy it now, the schools are gonna be in line. I mean, I don't know if it was Mike or somebody said, it's like, this is our opportune time because there are other people getting in line.
It definitely is.
Well, I think with the select board, we talked to them last time we,
Yep.
we want them to lay out the priorities.
Mhm.
And the work group that's doing the capital planning also needs to get that moving along too, so we can look. We have one now, a rough draft.
Right.
The select board is going around with, that needs to be fine. And priorities. But I think giving back a little bit of dollars, I think the BBT, somebody coming in to help offset costs is a good message. Realizing we got to still have a functioning, not a duplicate of what we have there, but one that's big enough to handle this. Expansion for community, maybe 5 to 10 years out, we may need to blow the back of the building instead of 20 years.
I just feel bad that people are not, they don't look at the long view.
No.
I hate to build a building that we're gonna outgrow.
Nobody does.
I know. I look
But look at it
around.
this way, you're gonna
Here.
have every building anyways. You're just gonna outgrow it sooner. You'll grow every building anyways.
If you look
Right, but even sooner.
historically though, Peg, this town has always been on the conservative side trying to get stuff through.
Right.
Everything's always been reduced. Everything says just get enough for today. We're trying to get today in a little bit.
But at least we're building, like we have this building and built the library, we're building. Before we wouldn't have done that, we did the senior center, just had people put it together. In fact, they tried to do the police station. That's why we're stuck with the shell.
Yeah, that would work. You
So I
can't-
mean, at least they're moving in the right direction. It's just, they're not gonna go. It's not even like we're designing Taj Mahal, we're designing what the needs are for the community and senior center. It's just, people can't get through their head.
And I think there's a side of it. Again, we need more people, but there's a side to get out to vote. On my spare list is try to analyze that demographics to see what happened.
I think Elena's gonna work on that, isn't she?
We both look.
It's a big number to swallow too. It really is. We're used to it now because we're here, but think of the first time we heard about
Yeah,
it.
we had sticker shock.
So if we take that sticker shock and move that down a little bit, but we need a mic to do that.
We're gonna go back to the idea of just a senior center, or are we gonna keep it senior and community?
I think we let him do what he needs to do to figure it out.
You're talking about Mike P?
We need to make sure we have a seniors.
Right,
That's the priority.
that is the priority.
If there's a capability to have community stuff, we're already community. With all this,
We know, it's
But if it's
of why, we know
but
that.
if it's beyond, more community, if it's more community, we'll let Mike figure that out.
Yeah, because we just figured we'd have some extra rooms, like if the library needed to use a meeting room, the Lions needed to use a meeting.
There's a host of things.
but that may just have to be.
Yeah.
Sorry. It may have to be just a senior center. We have to change the name, who knows? Because that's the priority.
Always been a Mendon Senior Community Center. It's, the original document states that, you know. So, I mean, that's what we do.
Yeah, you do that. And we
Yeah.
do, we just would do less community
Senior.
and more senior, but we have to meet the needs of the seniors. That's how we started. We don't have the room. So we're gonna get a little funding next week, this week, no, tomorrow.
Tomorrow,
Then we need to meet these crazy legal deadlines for the Secretary of State to get it on the ballot.
right?
And then we need to start planning from there, once we get some input from Mike. There will be some more sessions to go over functional design. And I think I'm gonna recruit my wife to do this since she's retired. And she does that, she did that for a living for 30 years. Functional designs, boxes, squares, cubes, people, capacities. So I'll have her help us there too.
As long as it doesn't interfere with work.
It won't interfere. But we have,
Get your priorities straight, girl.
she does come to help. She'll do her thing, I'll do my thing. Okay. So funding approach, redesign, we talked about that. Mike's prepared to jump in whenever we get rolling. Cost goals and possibilities. Oh,
That too,
Yeah.
we just don't know.
we don't know yet, that's a question. Communications and outreach, we just really need people. And on the other side of that coin, I got some of my action items done, but I didn't get a hold of two folks on the school board that I want to meet. To get those on board, we have the current chair and the finance guy, I think. I want to get them on board, see how I can get to school. And I'll probably reach out to Colleen, who's the superintendent,
Oh, okay.
and try to get some action going there too. I'd like to have a buzz on their side, because they reach a whole different audience. And new business, anything else on these topics? No voting on it. I don't think we have anything else on these current topics, right? New business is,
Yeah, I need this to be reviewed and
Yep.
agreed upon so that I can email it maybe tonight.
okay, Amy passed out a document here for senior center update for the newsletter. We continue, okay, despite the recent adverse vote at the polls, we continue to be ongoing, there continues to be an ongoing need for senior center, community center. The defeated proposal has been based on 10 years of work of two separate committees that include input from seniors, several architects and contractors. The Mendon Select Board has therefore charged the current committee to formulate a revised proposal to address the needs. The proposal will be brought forward to the voters in the fall. The opinions of the townspeople are especially important to the committee. We will be used to crafting a revised proposals. Anyone wishing to join or offer suggestions, please contact me or Peg. I'm comfortable with this going in the newspaper.
I think get rid of the word defeated.
That's what I said.
The proposal has been based on 10 years.
Okay.
I don't think you should have defeated in there.
Okay.
It's a negative connotation.
I would agree.
And then, just Ann had picked up that we didn't have community in the second sentence. So I see that's a little, it's redundant there, where it simply said the new senior center. So, the new, I don't know if that was something Earl had done, but so the new senior and community center.
The new center.
Do you want to just say the new center?
We say community center above it.
Do you want it to just say center, as opposed to senior community center?
Saying the topic of the article is the Mendon Senior and Community Center, I don't think we need to say that.
I think you keep it the same, community center, senior and community center,
Okay.
I would think. Right.
If we're keeping it as both, if we're, because we won't know for sure until we see like these,
That's right, you already know it. and then-
Yeah, our current plan,
but this is right. This is what we know today. I agree with you. I would keep both
This
names.
is senior community center, okay, sorry.
Because this is this is the heading up there. That's just gonna be the
Everything
ground.
else has already been defeated since.
All right.
I don't like that, Greg.
That is out, okay.
You can say just the proposal.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think previously it's something like the previous proposal or whatever, so yeah, proposal was good. Second sentence. Just change the wording around a little bit, but therefore in the middle instead of front. And fall, everybody's okay with spring and be, will be brought before the voters in the fall, not November, it's still, it's.
We said in the previous one, the current proposal. That's what we said.
Right. So, but I like just the proposal, I think
Okay.
that ties in nicely to the first sentence.
Yeah.
And so everybody's okay with in the fall?
Yeah, don't put a date down.
The townspeople, we added, especially important. Actually, AI, right? Actually added especially as opposed to very, to the committee, and we'll be used in crafting a revised proposal.
We use the word very.
Yeah,
So
I
the
changed
opinions
it.
of the townspeople
Yeah.
are very important.
Especially is better.
especially fine. That's either one.
I think that's
Six and one half dozen of another. All right, so defeated out, senior and community center, first sentence, voters in the fall, especially is okay. Good.
You good?
all right. I'll give you a
Thank you. Thank you, Ann.
Thanks.
Any other new business or comments or questions?
I just want to make sure, because everybody, it's not public yet, but it's also going to go in this paper, and I couldn't put them both on page one, but Ann Mazar has been selected as.
She belongs on page one.
She's going on page one, and the press she told me tonight, the editor, that I couldn't have both because Upton gets their space too. So this will be in there. If you want, I can put it someplace else for someplace other than senior center activities. Because I don't want it to get lost in our
Close, you can put it to the front of the paper. It's probably a better idea because on our activities, kind of towards the back, our activities and Upton's
Yeah.
activities.
Yeah, they are.
And if she bolds this, if she does a bold print on Mendon Senior, when you send to Upton, that will be our judgment.
Okay.
But yes, Ann deserves it. Ann
If we have
deserves
Ann
it.
talk about it a little bit on the front page.
Sorry, what?
Maybe Ann can talk about it a little bit on the front page.
She will.
Well,
Something she'd like to see done.
yes.
I think,
She's been supportive, so.
Yeah, she's been supportive, so that's good.
okay, this is good. Meeting next week. We're gonna wind up getting some funding. We're gonna talk to Mike.
Yeah, with July week, so a lot of people are gonna be going.
But why don't we skip next week and go the week after? The thought process for the week after would be obviously knocking down the legal date.
Yeah, I'll have it done before then, because I'm gonna be away that week. But I can zoom to the meeting.
Okay,
So that's the 9th we're talking about.
yeah.
July 9th.
If you can knock out the legal, that's the big next step. And I'll stay up with Ellen to make sure she goes. But we should think about recruiting people for the committee, communications, outreach.
Well, maybe we'll get some response when it gets in both papers.
Yeah, it's amazing how people respond.
Is there anything enticing that we can say?
Cookies and coffee, I don't,
Everybody gets a free ice cream deal, yes.
Special, we serve at the meeting.
the keganator, we can't put.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh, you said, we said to join the committee or offer suggestions. People might be apt to offer some suggestions, but they don't want to join a committee. They don't want to make that
Come
commitment.
down to the senior center and just have a form there and say, give your thoughts on this, and maybe they would fill it out or.
We have our own suggestion box.
We can also put something in the newsletter. We can put it in.
The thoughts, comments are welcome. Like that.
If we said especially important, it's kind of saying.
Yeah.
I think once this runs, Karen, if you could,
Flip this in after it runs.
learning cycle takes 7 times for people to read something.
Yeah. Right.
And maybe the flip of that, we really need your input.
I mean, maybe the last, final sentence, what did you say about,
input and your thoughts would be welcome.
What do you think? Is it redundant or?
I think it's fine the way, I think it's fine the way it is. I mean, you're just,
Okay.
you're giving them an opportunity. If they have a question, they'll contact Phil or myself.
Or what about just a final sentence? Your input is welcome, exclamation point. After your two email addresses.
I don't know, you got the opinions that are important to the committee will be used.
Yeah, I got that.
Yeah.
Alrighty,
Send it to press.
it's going.
And Karen, I think once does this go out, Amy, do you know?
She's gotta give them to them by tomorrow, is it?
Tonight.
Oh, tonight.
I'm working days.
Okay, thank you. And then Karen, once we know that it's out on the streets.
Yeah.
We can kind of maybe flip the crafting and really start driving. We really need it.
All the sites.
And we can think about that on the meeting of the 9th.
It's the next meeting.
And then we'll talk about how we can communicate to the townspeople to come help and also to voice their concerns and opinions. And then parallel with that, we'll have Mike driving for the redesign. And then we'll see what we can do with the BBT guys. So you got two big ones. Anything else, folks? Good.
Mark, have anything?
Mark, you have anything?
Just two things, Phil. One, excuse me, I'll reserve a table at the Lions Country Fair on October 13th for you guys. So you can do some information if you want
Thank you for doing that.
Good, thank you.
now. And then on the 9th, the Lions Club are having their circus up on North Ave, so I will not be at the meeting.
Yeah, you'll be
That's
the
okay. Be where you should be.
ringmaster.
That's great, Rich.
I'm gonna run a pony out
Gotta
of
get
town.
you the top hat and the whip.
Okay,
They'll reserve us a spot. Good.
excellent. Anything else?
That's it for me.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Thanks, everyone. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
Welcome to adjourn.
Second,
All in favor?
I.
All right.
You know what?
Okay. Thanks, everybody.
Okay.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night, Mark.
Good night.
So you picked up on my thing today. That's all right. That's good.
Yeah, oh, you